What's up, guys? Austin here, and I am just sitting down from work and had a hour or two to look over the market and look at some stocks I'm liking. And I'm gonna get to the picks I'm looking at for next week on some stocks I'm looking at trade and see if we can profit on in this choppy market. So first things first, I always like to look at the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq to look where we might see the market move the next week. So the first one, let's look at the S&P 500, which I actually look at SPY, which is an ETF that tracks S&P 500. Let's look at the 1 day, 1 minute, and this is going back to Friday. But we had a really great day Friday. SPY is up 73%. We had a really strong opening. And we actually hit an all-time high of 422.82, which is great. And we proceeded to try to retest it, and the Bulls didn't win. We pulled back just a little, but for the most part, it stayed strong, and we were over the 180 SMA for the rest of the day. It looks like. Kind of what I'm looking at is for Monday or next week. Maybe we leg up come Monday and we retest that high. And if we don't break it or we leg down, I could look at us going to the bottom of this channel and testing 421 area and seeing if that holds. And if it doesn't, obviously we could go lower. Which, if you're looking at the 180 day and the longer, as many of you know, we are very overbought. Look at the RSI, and we honestly, in my opinion, I think we need a pullback. But it is the S&P 500 and the stock market right now, and besides growth stocks, everything just wants to go up. All right, and looking at the Nasdaq, which I personally use the QQQ, which is an ETF as well, to help track the Nasdaq for me. So just looking at it, Friday we had a really good bounce early pre-market, hit our high of the day at 336.86, and it proceeded to be a choppy day like normal. But the good news is we traded in a pretty obvious channel throughout the day, and we, just like the S&P 500, we did try to retest that high, but we couldn't break it. And we did hold the low. And it's a little bit higher of a low, but we did hold it. I could see us Monday moving up again to retest that high or dropping down lower, just depending on what the market does. Looking at the 5 day, 5 minute, I think it'd be great. We need to hold that 335 area through here. And if we could hold that as a new low, we could start seeing the Nasdaq continue to rise. And honestly, a lot of the big techs has been doing great lately. And the smaller, more growth stocks have really taken a beating. And that's what personally I'm focusing on right now. And that's what we'll look into just a second. And now for my first stock of this week. And one, I'm not super crazy bullish on the company, but as far as the technical setups, which is most of the time what I'm trading on, is Twitter. And as you see here, I've had the 180-day chart pulled up. And there's a trend line I got right here that we've held once, twice, 3 times. And seems to be a pretty strong resistance that we've consistently bounced off of. And recently we've had a pretty rough sell-off. Honestly, if you look at the 5 day, 5 minute, if I can pull that up there, we're really close to that trend line. We did bounce off it here again, and we dipped a little bit low below it here, but we pulled right on back up. So come Monday, I'd be looking for getting really close to this 53.25 range. And personally, what I would do is I'm looking to pick up maybe a call or two and see if we bounce off it. And obviously, we drop below it, my stop loss would be right here, and then I'd probably cut my other one right around 52.60 area. But personally, I think we're due for a bounce again off this line. And if you look at the 180-day area in the RSI, we're quite oversold. So we very well could see a pretty significant increase. Now, for my next stock, we have BYND, which is, if you don't know, that would be Beyond Meat, which I'm definitely a little bit more bullish on than Twitter as far as future. I personally don't think the vegan trend is going away, and I think we definitely are nowhere close to all-time highs. I think long term we will approach these, get close to the 200 level again. So the reason I'm looking for this chart, kind of like Twitter, and I like buying low. I'm pretty allergic to buying high. You won't see me doing it much, but there's a big resistance that we're approaching. And we hit a low of 105.6 here. And if we zoom in, go to the 20-day, we touched it again. And this was Thursday. So we're quite close to it. And we have a kind of a resistance right here. And I think if we could break this, we're due to go a lot higher. So what I'm looking for Monday, like Twitter, for hopefully a little bit of a pullback, but you probably can justify buying a call here because I don't know if we get close to this line again. But I'm personally looking, if it looks good Monday, to buy some options on this and ride it up, and possibly even some leap options because, like Twitter, this has been beat down pretty rough, and we have a lot of upward potential to go. At least, not even looking to this, if we could just get to that 120 range again, which I personally think is very doable, and that could net you some gains. Next up, we have Rocket Mortgage. This is a personal favorite of mine for a couple months now. It's as you can see, we've been trading in this channel for quite a long time. As we jumped out a couple times, pretty daggum aggressively due to some short squeezes. And recently, we have been really beat down. The RSI is just off the map. And if you're looking kind of at these long-term support levels, we've touched it quite a few times. And if you're looking at it right now, we are right there at it. In fact, we're a little bit below what I have drawn. But personally, I think if we could just jump above to this 1820 range, I'm very bullish on RKT, and I could see some calls doing real well, as well as just buying the stock outright. Right now seems to be a great deal for me, and historically, if you look back at it, we're to me a great deal. Most of the time, we do jump back up to the top part of this channel I have, and shares or options. If you time this right, this could be a great deal. For my next stock, we got a good old ARK. And personally, guys, I'm a big believer in Cathie Woods and all of her ETFs. And ARK K being her biggest one. I think we're in really good deal territory. And if you look here at my trend line, we've bottomed out here, and a little bit everywhere right here. But for the most part, we're really holding these two lows. And there's two lines I'm really paying attention to here. Let me switch it to the 5-day, 5-minute. The first one is the two lows I just showed you. But on Friday, we held it, jumped off of it, and it looks like we're trying to retest it again. So come Monday, I'm looking for this to maybe pull back a little bit, get close to this. And on this stock in particular, I'm really looking to add average in, especially if I get into calls. I would like to buy one right here, and if it breaks, get out of it. And if we drop down to this trend line, then I'm looking to add even heavier. And if you look at that, it's just kind of the same lines. It's just extended a little bit more on some quick sell-offs, and it also was some past highs in the past. So if we do break this one, I'm looking for this next trend line of about 106.23 to hold strong. And but you might not see that. You might see around that 108.70 area hold real strong. And like I said, I'm not going to chance it passing that up. If it gets close to 108.78 or around that area again, I'm looking to buy into it, probably around the 109 area. And depending on how options are looking. I might get into that a little bit. The only thing is sometimes ARC's options have a little bit higher premium, but even stocks long term, you're not going wrong with this ETF and Kathy and her team. I'm extremely bullish on it. Now, some of you might not be able to stomach this stock just because it's a Chinese stock, and some people get a little frightened from that just because recently we've had a lot of talk of Chinese stocks possibly being delisted, and particularly with BABA, ticker symbol BABA, the CEO Jack Ma going missing there for a bit. It can be a little make you a little scared, honestly. But I think it's worth the risk. With a lot of these Chinese stocks trade a lot lower compared to their American counterparts, just because they are Chinese and it's not as certain. But with BABA, I love the chart. If you look here, we have our trend line right here that seems to be a pretty strong resistance in the past. And also, it looks like we're in a wedge. And not only just in a wedge, we're at the bottom of the wedge where I could see a nice bounce off. And if we could approach this top resistance and break through it, we have a ton of room to the upside. And honestly, I think BABA's very undervalued, and it's been due for a breakout. So just looking, give you a better picture on the 5-day, 5-minute, look at how close we are to this trend line. And we have a lot of room even to get to the top of it. So I'm looking for Monday, a bounce off this lower, and possibly pick up some shares or some calls. But one thing to be very aware of is we do have earnings this week for BABA. So make sure if you do get into this, I think we're going to see some earnings hype and it jump out. But just make sure that that you either sell for earnings or be aware that if earnings are not quite where they want to be, there is going to be a sell-off. But if they beat, you could see this thing make some numbers to the upside. And for the last stock that I'm really paying attention to this week, we got Fubo TV. Much like BABA, we are in a wedge, and we are at the bottom of the wedge. So if you look, there's not quite as far as this trend line, hasn't touched the support very, very much. I'm more basing it more on the recent period, which I'll show you in a second. But look at this wedge that we have. 1, 2, 3, and we are looking to touch that again. So looking at the 5-day, 5-minute, this would be our low that I'm kind of basing on. But I would like to see, before I jump into Fubo, I'd like to see a little bit of a pullback into the 16s some point this week. And if we get that pullback, I'm looking to buy into some shares and buy into some calls. And 1657 would definitely be the stop loss that I would have. I wouldn't look for holding anywhere under this. And if we do pull up, let's say real strong Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, and we break this upper trend line around that 1875 point, I would be looking to buy a call. And even if we hit it and we did not break it, this would probably be a great stock to put a put on, because we could return right back to this lower trend line. So keep your eyes open on this one. All right, guys, and that is the stocks for the week. Just kind of a recap. And since this is one of my first videos, the people watching probably be like, well, all your picks are pretty much similar. They're at past lows, and they've been sold off, and the RSI is low. And to answer that, you're correct. That's how I like to trade, and that's what I'm looking for, and that's what has worked in the past for me. So if you have a similar trading strategy or you like that strategy, I suggest dropping a follow. And because I plan on putting out videos like this every week. I keep it pretty simple. That's what I like, and that's what I have found has done well. So yeah, drop a follow, subscribe. Appreciate you watching, and leave me a comment if you have another stock I should check out, or if you have any critiques. Have a great week, and I hope we make some money.